Family, this is Denise in the little sewing room coming to you with a quick short tutorial on how I create my signature dress pattern. This is the easiest pattern that you can possibly make and use it for dresses, tunics, tops, whatever. I've used it in so many different ways to give my dress that unique feel. I'm wearing one today that I made out of upcycled denim. So it's denim jackets, denim pants, whatever I could find, and I put it together and created my signature dress, which I just truly love wearing. It's so comfortable, so easy to dress up or to dress down, to be really casual. So let's get to it. Let me show you how to make your own signature dress pattern so you can get started on creating some unique dress ideas for yourself. All right, I've shown you the supplies that I'm going to use. Just to give you a reference point, I have the oversized sweatshirt, my oversized sweatshirt laid over my current signature dress pattern. Just to give you an idea how much bigger than the sweatshirt it is. It's down from the top because there is seam allowance here along that shoulder and neck edge, and there's seam allowance already included in this pattern right along the front here. And I folded it back so you can see where the sleeve would end. So let me show you what happens when I take this sweatshirt, using it as a foundation, and turn it into the pattern for my signature dress. On my piece of craft paper, I've already put a registration mark 2 inches from the edge all the way along one side of the paper. This will become my center front seam / center back seam. I folded my sweatshirt in half and got it all nice and flattened out, and I put the fold right along the my registration line. So my fold is right there. So that's going to be center front. And the next step will be, and I folded the sleeves back how long I want the sleeves to be, is I'm going to just do a pencil outline of the t-shirt. I'll trace the neck edge and go down the shoulder edge. I've got it folded up where I want the sleeve to stop, and then I'll come underneath the underarm, along the side seams, and along the body. Okay. Now I want you to see what I've traced, so I'm going to go over it with a marker. So you can see the original lines I've traced of the shape of the t-shirt, of the sweatshirt. Okay, that is the shape of the sweatshirt. To make it become my signature dress, there are some standard measurements that I'll use to enlarging it. To enlarge it. There's no such word as enlarging it. On this sheet of paper, and I'll include sheet of paper, are the measurements that I use to make the signature dress have the fullness it needs based on the t-shirt. And I'll include this in the description box below. So on the underarm section, right here where this point is, I'll measure 7.5 inches along there. So just put there and go 7.5. Use a red pencil and mark that. And from the side here, right where the side starts to curve down, I'll measure 3 1/4 and 3 1/4. Mark it with the pencil. Simple. And then I'm going to connect these points. So it would overlap the underarm and come down to this one. I just made a simple curve, and I'll use a ruler. And from there, I will go down. And this is where my curve can come in handy here, is to get this. And if you don't have it, a saucer or a bowl will do nicely. So now I have made the shape that I want my underarm, and I've given myself the roominess. Remember, my sweatshirt was already loose. So adding this new line, and I'm going to do a broken line. So let you see what I just did. The broken line is how I've made the pattern bigger, right there. Now what I want to do is take that underarm line and continue it down to the very edge of my paper. To the very edge. So I'll just put my yardstick along that line, and it angles right out. It angles, and at an angle. At this point, I can angle it as wide as I want it to be by swinging this ruler. It goes off camera, I know, and make the dress real full, but I already know how full I like mine. So I'll just angle it. And this line, trust me, goes all the way to the end of the paper. Now, how do you know how long you want to make the dress? Well, simple, not rocket science. I've had my husband measure from the back point of my neck. This is the back of the neckline, down to where I like a finished dress to be, and that will be for me 48 inches. Yeah. So here's one, and I go down 48 inches. So this, again, this is the sweatshirt tracing, and this is the dress going, and I've marked off the length so you can see it. Here's the neck end up here, and here's the hemline down here. That's the hemline. So I'll make a broken line again. That way you can tell which is which. The most important thing to do is to get the hemline straight. I'll move that out of the way. So right here, I want to get that hemline right across there. This is something I forgot to mention. In my supplies is my T-square. I lay my T-square right on the line. That's 48 inches for my finished dress length. And draw a line straight across. That's nice and square. But what I do have to do is make it a little slight curve. That's where your dressmaker's curve comes in handy. If you line your dressmaker's curve up so that is running parallel right there, perpendicular to the side seam, and just draw a line where they intersect, and you end up with a nice curve at the bottom. And as I said, I'll have that on a little printout that you can uh, I have it on a printout with a link. I have a link to a printout that you can use that help to show the picture and what you're doing. So let me just do some, highlight the line for the shape of the hem. All right. So the broken line indicates the shape of the signature dress. The next thing we'll have to do is make that neckline. Now I had to make an adjustment on the neckline because the original neckline that I traced outlined with the sweatshirt is entirely too small. So what I simply did is, starting at the shoulder edge, I measured over 2 inches away into the body, put a mark, and at the center front / center back, I measured down 2 inches and I drew a quarter circle to make me a new neckline. And you can use a bowl or a saucer to do better at drawing your circle, but I simply did it freehand. And I want the circle can be too small because I can adjust the neck wider much easier than I can make it smaller. So when you make your sample, you can adjust your neck to make it either bigger or smaller where it's comfortable for you to pull it over your head. So that's how you do the neck. The way I want it to be, I have my neck edge, this center front, center back, and now I need to put seam allowance. And to make it easy for me to put seam allowance, I use the edge of my tape measure because the tape measure is 5/8 inch wide. So I'll anchor it down there, bring it along that shoulder edge, and I'll just draw a line along the outer edge. And that would be my 5/8. There we go. And I also need 5/8 along this center front, center back area. I'll do the same thing. I'm using my old-fashioned irons for weights. I'll put it there, I'll anchor it there, bring it taut along that seam. It makes it easy for me. And anchor it at the far end, back on camera here, and I'll just draw a 5/8 line. All the way down. And I'll do the same using my tape measure very carefully and do it along the underarm seam. It's real easy right here because I can just line it up. But when I get to the curve, it's going to be a little moves. See how I do that? I hope you can see that on camera. There we go. And right here. Now what I would suggest after you make this pattern is that you get you some fabric to make a sample. Something that you can cut up. Average dress takes about 3 yards. So get you 3 yards of what we call a waist fabric, like a muslin, any old cotton to do. If you want to make it out of something fairly nice, make it out of a cotton that you can later use it for a nightgown or something. But you're going to adjust the fit. If it's too loose and full, then you'll take the seams in a little more. If it's too tight, then you're going to have to go recut and let it out. But make a muslin first. After you make a pattern, take the time to make a sample of the garment, try it on, and see if it has the fit you want. Do all your adjustings on that sample, and then lay that sample out, take it a loose, lay it on your paper, and recut you out a new pattern, and you know you got it right, okay? That is. Now I'm going to compare this to my current pattern. Not bad. The new pattern I just made, the sleeves are a little lower. That's fine for me. And the width is just a wee bit wider than what I currently have, but that's okay. Neckline is perfect. Very easy. That's my new signature dress pattern. On this pattern, as with all patterns, you need a grain line. And what I like to do with the grain line for the signature dress to give it a nice hang, this is a tip, will be on that little PDF, is I mark a point at the top and I use my registration line that I drew, that I had originally for center front, center back, and I measure it. I measure the distance. From there to here is 6 1/4. If I want this dress to have a nice floaty hang, I'll go down about 12 inches from that point that I marked, 12 inches, and if this is a 6 1/4, then I add 1 inch and make it 7 1/4, and that's the way I want my straight line to be. This is how I get my grain line. The grain line is slightly off. It's not parallel. It's not parallel because I want to put this slightly off on my fabric so that I can get a floaty dress and not a dress that just hangs like a paper sack. I'll draw that line, let you see. It's easier to do than it is just to say it. This is my grain line. Okay. So it's only about 6 1/4 inches here, but it's 7 1/4 inches at the hemline. So that means that when the dress is on you, there will be a bit of a tint effect and you'll get soft folds, and that's what you want in a dress. So that's all there is to making my signature dress. I will cut this pattern out, make a sample, try it on. I'll correct the fit where I feel that it's more pleasing by either taking it in or adding more, whichever I need to do. And then I'll take that loose, lay it out on some paper, and cut out my corrected pattern. And it's only one piece. Cut 4 times, and I've got me a signature. Now, if you have any questions about what I did, please feel free to put a comment in the comments section. I'll answer it and try to do another tutorial. And if you'd like to see some tutorials on how I've changed up the signature dress pattern using piecing techniques, different types of fabric combinations, just let me know and I'll be happy to put those together for you also. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell others about Denise in the Little Sewing Room.